Welcome to Studio One. Glad to have you along as we join you from our studio located on the campus of the University of North Dakota. I'm your host, Tom Buring. Up ahead in this half hour, Miss America 1988, Kaylani Ray Rafco. We'll also meet the Director of Rural Health Services, Cynthia Smith, and in our Open Doors segment, country music great Willie Nelson. But first, let's go to the news desk with Chris Blaine. Chris?
Thank you, Tom. To most people, the billows of steam pouring out of the steam plant is something they see out of the corner of their eye. To a group of environmentally concerned people, however, those white puffy clouds may be a source of pollution. Lee Duma heads a group called Environmental Conservation Organization, or ECO. She wants to alert the community to possible environmental problems, starting with the steam plant on campus. ECO is concerned about the possibility that garbage pellets will be used to generate heat and steam. But according to Plant Services Director Leroy Sandral, the group has little to worry about. He says that the pellets were only one part of a recent mayor's report on pollution. He also said the pellets would have to undergo a series of state and federal tests before they could be used at UND. Besides, Sandral says the steam plant is not currently equipped to burn the garbage pellets. The group has written a letter to the North Dakota Board of Health complaining of high sulfur and nitrogen oxide levels. Despite this, Sandral says the steam plant is safe and will continue to operate until he receives further notice. Travel and adventure are not the normal job descriptions for a college student. In fact, the prospect sometimes seems remote. But Travel Door has been opened at the University of North Dakota through the efforts of the UND Language Department and Spanish instructor Graciela Wilborn. A cooperative venture between UND and the University of Granada will send North Dakota students and teachers to study in Granada, Spain, some 6 hours south of Madrid this summer. The trip, worth up to 6 credits, is open to North Dakota high school and college students with 4 semesters of Spanish study, also to junior and senior Spanish instructors. Wilborn says it's important for everyone to see the world, to be touched by history and culture of other lands. She says it opens attitudes and ideas and allows us to appreciate our own country just a little bit more. Another group of students has decided if it can't travel abroad, it can have a different kind of enrichment. A residence hall assistant and her floor of students are combining to help an African girl who they will probably never meet. Becky Steffel, a residence assistant in Squires Hall, says that they're sponsoring an 8-year-old girl named Rwanda through a program called Compassion International. The residents each pay $3.70 every 3 months for their sponsorship. Steffel says the Compassion International program is rated highest because they're guaranteed that 85% of the money they receive will go directly to the girls' community. And the UND women's volleyball team will compete this weekend at the North Central Conference Tournament at Mankato State. 6th-ranked UND will take on 3rd-ranked Northern Colorado Saturday afternoon at 5:30. Under head coach Lisa Cassie, the Lady Sioux ended their regular season with a 20-18 record. Cassie says that despite having a fairly young, inexperienced team, she expects the Sioux to compete well. The team will rely heavily on standout middle blocker Carla Danielson and freshman setter Lisa Lubke. Cassie says the team will also rely on its consistent serving. The Sioux are currently ranked 6th in the nation in service aces. That's a look at today's news. For Studio One, I'm Chris Blaine reporting. Tom?
Chris, hard to believe, but Thanksgiving is just 1 week away, and since turkey dinners will be on everybody's mind, a little entertainment away from the dinner table may be in order. Entertainment at least boxing fans will stomach, as some of the top amateur boxers from Wyoming, Montana, Canada, and the tri-state area will compete in the 13th annual Golden Gloves boxing tournament at the Grand Forks Civic Center. Tickets for next Friday's matches are $4, while the championship matches on Saturday the 25th will cost you $5. Joining us for a look at today's weather, Studio One meteorologist Bridget Mikula. Bridget?
Thanks, Tom. Our season's first Arctic outbreak hit our area this week, but I'll tell you more about that later. Taking a look at the almanac, we had a high yesterday of 20 degrees, a low this morning of 2 below, and a trace of snow in the last 24 hours. Currently at 4 p.m., under partly cloudy skies, the temperature is 12 degrees, winds are west at 5 miles per hour, and the relative humidity is 66%. Taking a look at the national map, we see that the western third of the United States is dominated by this high pressure system, bringing in clear skies and warm temperatures down into California and Arizona. Temperatures are in the 80s, but that's not the case in the eastern part of the United States. We see the strong cold front bringing in very severe storms such as in Huntsville, Alabama yesterday. They had severe tornadoes causing 19 deaths yesterday and 500 casualties. Back behind this cold front, in Wisconsin and Michigan, temperatures range in the 30s and 40s, and very heavy snow is being reported. Taking a look at our area, this Arctic Clipper is moving down, bringing in heavy winds and a very good chance of snow. And I'll be back later with a look at the regional forecast. Tom?
Okay, Bridget, thank you. Good news, bad news for sports fans. The good news, lots of action this weekend. The bad news, most of it's on the road. The Fighting Sioux basketball team will be home going up against Bemidji State in non-conference action Friday night. Tip-off is at 7:30 in the Hislop Sports Center. The Sioux hockey team will face off against Denver in a 2-game weekend series at Denver University, while the Sioux wrestlers travel to Omaha, Nebraska to take on the Mavericks. When Studio One returns, you'll meet Miss America 1988, Kaylani Ray Rathko.
What's wrong, Vince?
My woman's done left me, my dog ran away, and people still aren't wearing their safety belts.
Aw, Vince, you singing those buckle up blues again?
Some people don't wear their seat belts. I can't believe it's true. Those kind of people get knocked right out of their shoes. So buckle up, baby. Don't sing me those buckle up blues.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
I mean it, baby. Buckle, honeysuckle, buckle, yeah.
Yo, Alf here. Apparently some chowderheads out there aren't taking care of this planet. They're messing up public lands. They're littering the beaches and vandalizing the parks. Look, folks, public lands are not like pizzas. You just can't pick up the phone and order more. So let's take care of our land. Let's save the planet. Call me and promise you'll help. I'll send you a bunch of neat stuff. It's my way of saying thanks. It's an acknowledgement of your concern. It's a bribe.
It's the dream of some young women to be Miss America, but it's also a dream that takes lots of hard work, dedication, and long hours. Our first guest was one of those select few who took that long walk down the famed runway of the Miss America pageant. Kaylani Ray Rathko, Miss America 1988 and registered nurse, now travels the country as a spokesperson for the American Nursing Association and talks about her experiences as Miss America. We welcome to Studio One, Kaylani Ray Rathko, Miss America 1988.
Well,
good to meet you, Kaylani.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Thanks
I
for coming in.
wish Bridget would have had some better news for me, though.
Timing is
I
everything.
don't know. I'm
Timing.
from Michigan, and I understand they're getting 2 to 4 inches over there, so I said, maybe it is better that I'm here. I'm not sure. I walked out, they said, welcome to North Dakota, -2. I thought, uh-oh.
Hard, cold reality.
Yes.
When we talk about you being a nurse, being a Miss America, could we overlook some similarities between the two?
Well, I'm not so sure about that. In fact, there were so many people who were surprised when I was crowned Miss America. Mainly, in fact, it was a little bit difficult to be taken seriously as a professional in the beginning. Unfortunately, there are some nurses who have a negative image of Miss America and a typical bubble-headed bimbo image, and it's really unfortunate because we're very professional people who need some financial assistance to further our education. Being the first nurse ever crowned Miss America put me in a great opportunity. I started traveling the country, visiting over 300 hospitals across the nation in the last year and a half and over 80 hospices. You mentioned my dream of being Miss America. It lasted 1 year, but my dream for nursing and working with hospice will last my entire lifetime, and that's my interest right now.
Kaylani, as a spokesperson for the
Yes.
American Nursing Association, what do you bring to the nursing profession?
I think, first of all, the most important thing I could bring right now is I have a worldwide platform with the Miss America title that is recognized by everyone in this country over the age of 5 and even in parts of the world. I'm talking to students of all ages and even talking to people in the community about the importance of supporting hospice programs and, more importantly, deciding on choosing nursing as a lifelong career. I could not have come at a better time. Hospice is just starting now to get well known in this country, and is, of course, during the shortage. It was a perfect time to send my message. But that's what I hope to contribute to nursing as well as hospice.
And two separate ambitions altogether. Was it your intention at the beginning to use Miss America as a platform if you were to win?
Well, you know, I never even thought about winning. In fact, you can look back at the tape, and I'm sitting there dazed, so busy thanking the Lord for giving me the position of being in top 5, you know, or top 6. You know, the rest of the 6 standing there, I don't even hear my name called. He gets through Kehlani Ray Rafko, and as you know, Tom, that's a long, that takes a lot of time on television. And before I knew it, I thought, did he say Rafko? And I reacted the last minute after my name was already mentioned. I did not plan on winning. It was never a goal of mine, never a dream of mine, except when I was very young. I entered the pageant system because I needed scholarship money for nursing school, and it paid off in many more ways than I even thought possible.
Is that the case, though, for most Miss Americas, Kehlani, where it is not a goal in itself, but helps further your goals?
Maybe not so in all cases. In fact, probably the majority of them, of course, all of us would like to win the national title, but the majority of cases, they need some financial assistance, and yes, if they're given such a position, such as this, they will take advantage of it and push things that are important to them, which is the reason why I've come to North Dakota. It's my second trip to your state, and I was here when I was 10 years old, and then here just about a month ago in Jamestown, and I'm here pushing some things that are important to me. I will be at the Westward Ho. In fact, that's where I'm staying.
Hospice Holiday Fashion Show.
Yes, the Hospice Holiday Fashion Show. I'll be helping to raise funds for hospice here, the United Hospice, affiliated with United Hospital. And during my visit here to Grand Forks, I've been able to talk to nurses this afternoon, visit patients, say hello to them, sign a few autographs, and it's been wonderful. And it's an opportunity that I will not stop. In fact, as long as they want me out there traveling as a national spokesperson, I'll continue to do so. I'm booked through May and have things scheduled as far as March of '91.
There is life after Miss America.
I think so. I'm married, and my husband still insists that there will be some time that we'll be able to spend together. Fortunately, he loves frozen pizzas, and however, I still have not taught him to do his own laundry. I'm working on that. But there's life after Miss America, definitely.
It's good to have you on.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
A busy, busy schedule. Kehlani Ray Rafko, Miss America of 1988. When Studio One continues, our Open Door segment takes a look at country music legend Willie Nelson.
From the world of broken dreams.
I was going to take a job with an engineering firm in New York. I got a better offer. I'm building schools overseas with the Peace Corps. The pace is a little slower than New York, but here I'm getting grassroots experience I couldn't get anywhere else. The way I look at it, the world can wait 2 years for another 40-story smoked glass high-rise.
Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
You don't have to be a country music fan to recognize the impact Willie Nelson has had, not only in the music industry, but in relieving the plight of the American farmer. Today on our Open Door segment, it takes us to the bus and stage of America's favorite red-headed stranger, Willie Nelson.
Well, I think it's obvious that we like to play music, and we enjoy what we do, and that carries over in the audience, and it's sort of contagious. I think if there's no secrets to it. It's just we like to play.
No secret that Willie Nelson's appropriately labeled country music's greatest living legend. Pretty impressive for a guy who simply goes about his business.
I don't know. I look at what I do as a great way to make a living. But the truth of the matter is that it is the way that we all make our living. It's our profession. So sometimes I look at it sort of like a business, and sometimes I don't. But every now and then somebody's got to. I found a way to enjoy what I do, and not that it's that hard for me to do, because I really do enjoy playing music. But with all the other turmoil that goes on around a person, I found a way to stay with what I know how to do and play music and enjoy it, and that makes me happy.
His offstage efforts have made a lot of farmers happy. A Bob Dylan remark about raising money for the needy in America resulted in his leadership of 3 Farm Aid concerts to benefit the family farmer. Does he feel any additional sense of responsibility with the privilege of success?
Well, yeah, I do, but I think it's the same responsibility that you should feel and that everybody should feel, because the family farmer is the backbone of this country. And I know that, you know that, everyone seems to know that, but he's in danger of going under, and it's up to us to keep him up, because there's a lot of selfish motives in it. We need him. He loves the land. he will take care of the land, and then if it all gets turned over to the big corporations, they will drain everything they can drain out of that soil the first year if they can, and then go on to the next big farm next door. And this is not the way that we want the earth and the land treated, because we want it to feed us for a long, long time, as it will do if we treat it right. Also, all these pesticides and poisons they're putting on our food, this is all farm-related also. The farmers don't necessarily want to do that, but they're required to do it. And it's not necessary that food be grown that way. There is a healthy way to grow food, and the farmers know how to do it, and we should back off and let them alone and let them grow their food, pay them a fair price for it.
It's been so long now, but it seems now that it was on.
Well, I used to work on farms when I was a kid, other people's farms, and I used to say, well, I'll be glad when I get enough money to buy my own farm and have people work for me and I can lay up in the shade. That day finally came, and I almost went broke trying to support the farm. If it hadn't been for the music business, I wouldn't have been able to keep the farm. And unfortunately, these thousands and hundreds of thousands of farmers out there don't have another profession to fall back on. Some of them have had to take 2 and 3 jobs in order to keep the farm, and that's not right.
A 4th Farm Aid concert is scheduled in March with plans for the debut of his latest project, the Cowboy Channel.
A friend of mine, Mac Long, came to me with the idea several months ago, and what do you think about a Cowboy Channel? And I said, well, I think it's a great idea. We need something on television. I used to turn on, well, I still do, turn on television in motels after midnight, and it's hard to find anything. So I said, well, I wish I could get a good Gene Autry movie or a good, music, something out of Nashville or something. But at that hour of the night, there's not that much going on. So I said, well, yeah, that's a great idea. We'll have a Cowboy Channel. We'll have cowboy movies 24 hours, and we'll have music, country music, jazz. We'll get Django to play. We'll have the whole thing. So we started putting it all together, and we have had everything but money. And so then we started looking for money, and we found a few folks that think we have a good idea. So and I purchased a library from the Norman Lear people. It's 2,400 hours of syndicated television shows that was filmed in Nashville with Nashville talent in the early days of country music television. Legendary guys like Porter Wagner. There's 680 shows. 500 of those, Dolly Parton is singing on them, and the Wilburn Brothers with Loretta Lynn, and it's just some fantastic talent. All the great artists, Marty Robbins, Lefty, and all those guys, at one time were guests on all these shows. So I felt like this was really something that needed to be preserved, for one thing, and also what a good idea it would be to play these shows on the Cowboy Channel.
And how does Willie relax? Not with a guitar, with a golf club.
It's the greatest outdoor game that, for me, because you can't think about anything else if you want to hit the ball. I almost quit the game when I found out I couldn't hit it as hard as I wanted to. You want to take out all your animosities on that little ball, and if you do, it'll just laugh at you. Well, I always said I always like for people to think they got their money's worth, If they got a good show and it was worth getting up and leaving the house for. And that's all I ask for.
Country music's greatest living legend, Willie Nelson. Just how well are rural health needs being met? We'll find out when Studio One continues.
Mom, where do forest fires come from?
Going great lengths for small visits to the physician's office isn't the choice of most small towns. It's an unfortunate but common problem. Our next guest belongs to an organization that helps push communities matching up physicians with their town's specific needs. Cynthia Smith, the Director of Rural Health Services at the University of North Dakota, also serves as a resource person on health issues for rural communities in the state. We welcome to Studio One Cynthia Smith. Cynthia, thanks for coming on.
Hi, Tom.
Let's talk about rural areas. Why the problem now? Why haven't we been able to see this in coming, say, over the last 5-15 years?
I think we have seen it coming. I think it's just more prevalent right now. People are acknowledging that, yes, this is a problem. But I think people have seen it. And it stems from not just physician shortage, but the urban migration of the population.
So it's a combination of factors.
Right, right.
And define and describe what you're doing.
Oh, many things. The focus of my office is health manpower recruitment. We try to find physicians for rural America. We concentrate mainly in North Dakota, given that we are affiliated with UND School of Medicine, but we have also done services for other states.
Right off the bat, is there any percentages that indicate physicians coming out of med school? How many of them are coming from rural areas? How many of them are coming from urban areas? Any indication of that?
I believe with UND, they did a study 2 years ago in 1988, and that study showed that approximately, I believe it was like 60-40. 60% were urban, meaning coming from places like Grand Forks, Fargo, Bismarck, and then the remaining 40 coming from rural sites in North Dakota.
Consistent across the country?
Right.
Describe the matchmaking process. I don't know a better way to describe that. You link up communities to physicians that are available. Who makes the contact?
We do. That is our role. We concentrate on UND School of Medicine and the residents in the state. And that is our focus of where we find potential recruits. We market contracts from rural sites, rural hospitals in North Dakota, and in doing so, we look at that community. We develop a profile, a community assessment of their need and what type of physician they're looking for. With that information, we go back to our residents, to the potential matches we have, and we match based on mixing the two together.
And you have a list of physicians as well that are available.
Right, right.
Where does North Dakota compare in terms of other states with availability of physician help?
Scarce. We tend to go outside of North Dakota also, obviously. With UND School of Medicine graduating approximately, I think they have 50 students, per 4-cycle year. And so obviously we have to go out because we don't have enough physicians coming through our own ranks. We did an informal survey about 2 months ago of our hospitals, finding out the needs, health manpower needs. North Dakota, based on this informal survey, is looking for just about 100 physicians across the state. That's a lot of doctors. So knowing that we can't find 100 physicians right here within the state, obviously we have to go out to other programs, to other states.
Do rural areas vary when you do profiles of communities? Is there much varying from community to community?
Very much so. Each community has its own uniqueness, its own pros and cons, so to speak. But what's really refreshing in our work is that these communities are so enthusiastic about what they do and getting involved in recruitment of health professionals. They are finding that they have to compete with their urban counterparts, and to do that they have to come up with benefit packages that are going to, number one, attract the physician there monetarily, and then keep them there. So that means finding employment for the spouse, assuring adequate daycare, assuring good school systems.
The biggest enticement for a physician to a small town, what would it be? What do you find?
Biggest enticement right now, I think, that we're looking at is the quality of life. Physicians are not looking, they're looking for money. They want to make sure that they can provide their family the basics of life, a good home, a car, those types of things. But they're also looking for that quality of life, quality time with family, that there is leisure time, that their call schedule is flexible enough so that they can spend a weekend with their family.
And Cindy, as you've described to me, the impact is much more than folks driving a small area away to get physician help. The impact could devastate small communities to the place of depleting them altogether. Explain
exactly.
How that is.
You find if you lose your physician, if it's a single physician practice in a small site, If that physician goes, he takes his family. You have a young mother needing prenatal care. That mother is going to go off to another site. So obviously, if she has to go out of town for prenatal care, she might as well do her shopping in that bigger city because it probably will be less expensive for her, and she's going to be there anyway. So she takes the family out of that community. So economically, you lose.
And Cindy, every state has a rural area. There are more centers than just here, true?
That's right. We are one of 5 nationally recognized rural health research centers.
And we are setting some precedent and innovation in your research?
Our focus is on rural health policy, and policy encompassing networking of rural communities and accessing state policy and national policy levels.
Do you find the state of North Dakota is a good lab?
I think so. I think so. They're very receptive to what we do and to helping us, not only our legislature, but the people. The people in rural America are very responsive right now.
Positive things up ahead? You optimistic?
Oh yes, always. You have to be in recruitment.
You have to be. Cindy, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate the information. You're doing a lot of good work.
Thank you.
Director of Rural Health Services, Cynthia Smith. We'll take a look at the weekend's forecast when Studio One continues.
Just a fraction of what we spend dining out could help pick up the tab for a good cause. A small part of what we spend on sports could help keep our community in shape. Or some of our time on the phone could help answer society's problems. Won't you get involved? By giving 5% of your income and volunteering 5 hours per week, you can really help your community. This year, make it your goal to give 5. What you get back is immeasurable.
Some people say the press goes too far sometimes.
Sorry, I don't think it's appropriate to comment at this time.
Had they stopped here, you may never have known about Watergate.
Please, no comment.
Or here, you may never have known if an issue concerned you.
The committee approved it.
Now you say the committee was involved, sir?
No.
To protect your right to be informed,
I have nothing more to say.
how far should the press go? To learn more about the free press, contact the First Amendment Center.
60 local dancers will get the chance to strut their stuff, or in this case, gracefully glide with the professional Oakland Ballet this weekend in the Christmas classic, The Nutcracker Suite. There'll be evening performances Friday and Saturday at 7:30 and a 2 o'clock matinee Saturday afternoon. For more ticket information, contact the Chesterford's box office. For one last look at the weekend forecast, here's Bridget Mikula. Bridget?
Thanks, Tom. Taking a look at Friday's regional forecast map, we see that this low pressure system will be coming through the Alberta Clipper, bringing in cold temperatures into this area with this low pressure system situated over here, bringing temperatures in North Dakota into the teens. In the teens in this area. In South Dakota, temperatures will be in the 20s and 30s. Taking a look at the forecast in detail. Tonight, cloudy, a low of 10 degrees, winds south 10 to 20 miles per hour, a 50% chance of light snow with 1 to 2 inches possible. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 15 degrees, winds northwest 25 to 30 miles per hour, and a 20% chance of snow. Saturday, cloudy, highs of 15 to 20 degrees, and Sunday, partly cloudy, warmer, high of 25 to 30 degrees. So be sure to bundle up tomorrow. Tom?
Thank you, Bridget. Our thanks to Cynthia Smith and Kaylani Ray Rafko for joining us today. Because of the Thanksgiving holiday next week, we won't be here. Hope you have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. We'll see you again in 2 weeks.